Well, I still have that bitter taste in my mouth for what I saw from the Yankees. I still can't believe it. We lost a 3 game set to Baltimore. Are you serious? Oh man, that 13-game winning streak is starting to seem like a distant memory right now. We've lost 6 of 8 since then, and the race is getting. Well, we can forget about the division because even when we were winning those games left and right, there was no dent as nobody was beating Tampa, and now we're 7.5 games out, so that's not good. So the focus is pretty much on getting the wild card and hopefully making sure it stays that game is in the Bronx, especially since we could be facing Boston. If we have to go to Fenway in front of that crowd in a winner take all playoff game. Who knows? But yeah. So the Yankees, there's still time. We need to get out of that skid. Meanwhile, the Giants have regained first place in the National League West, and so they're done with the Dodgers for now. Um, they played their 19 games. We could see a 20th because it's pretty neck and neck. It's 1 game difference between the Giants and the Dodgers, and there's a good chance these two teams could finish tied after 162 games. Ooh boy, that's gonna be an important game because whoever that's gonna be an important game if that happens because whoever loses that tiebreaker, if it comes down to these two, whoever loses that game will have to host a wild card game against looks like either San Diego or Cincinnati or whoever because that's a pretty close race too. Imagine that though, Giants and Dodgers in a winner take all. Not winner take all. It'll be winner take. It'll be winner take all, but the loser won't be out. But still, Giants Dodgers in a 1 game playoff 70 years after the two teams when they were in New York faced off in that tiebreaker series. Good. That's some synergy right there. So yeah, the races are kind of intensifying, which always happens in September. September is a very important month in baseball. The last full month before the season starts, the playoffs start. I mean, and it's going to be a very interesting home stretch. It's Labor Day weekend, so things will definitely pick up. And what's and the story here's the story so far in the playoff in the playoff picture. Let me get the standings up, and here they are. Okay, okay. So the Rays 7.5 game lead over the Yankees, the AL East. I think that division is pretty much over because, like I said, even when the Yankees were winning those games, all those games in a row, I think the Yankees would have picked up like a game and a half during that stretch. That's a killer. You would think that when you're winning games left and right, the team ahead of you would lose a few. That they didn't lose too many. So yeah, Tampa has a 7.5 game lead. Tampa's magic number in the winner division is 19, which is which isn't real low, but it's low enough. But yeah, 19 is the magic number. Um, the White Sox, that division is pretty much over. They run away with the Central. They have a 9.5 game lead over over the Cleveland Indians, later to become the Cleveland Guardians starting next season. The White Sox match number to win the division is 18. And Houston, they've been kind of skidding lately, but they have a 4.5 game lead over the Mariners. And Houston's match number to win the AL West is 22. The National League, it's pretty close. It's a 3-team race still, but even with the Mets falling off, but the Mets have been winning lately. Braves lead 2.5 games over Philly, 3.5 games over the Mets. Their match number to win the division is 25. The NL Central is dead. It's dead. It's Labor Day weekend, and the Brewers have an 11-game lead. An 11-game lead. The second place team is Cincinnati, who actually lost their wild card lead. Uh, the Padres, who have been slumping a bit, they moved past them. So, but it's still gonna be a close race. um, Milwaukee's magic number. I think they have the smallest one out of division leaders. Milwaukee's magic number to win the division is 14. Meaning, really they could kind of clinch as early as next week. Really, if they continue picking up games, they can clinch as early as next week. So yeah, and the NL West, that's the close one. That's the real close one. The Giants and the Dodgers. The Giants took 2 out of 3 for the Dodgers in that final series in Frisco. So they have a 1-game lead. They are done with the Dodgers in the regular season, maybe. Because remember, tiebreaker games are regular season games. They count the regular season. But it's a 1-game lead for the Giants. Their match number is 25, the largest because it's so close. Regarding the wild card, standings, the Yankees. Can you imagine if the American League wild card actually is Yankees Red Sox? Oh my goodness! But yeah, the Yankees and Red Sox at the moment hold the 2 wild cards. The Yankees lead for home field in that game is down to a half game. That's not good. Losing 6 of 8 will do that because that league was much larger. But now it's only a half game difference between the Yankees and Boston. Seattle is right behind. Is the first team behind that playoff line. They've been winning. They have been winning. They've won 5 in a row, and they're 3 games behind Boston. The 3 games behind Boston, they're within striking distance of the division. Could this be the year that Seattle finally ends that skid? It would be their first postseason in 20 years if they move past that playoff line and stay there. Toronto and Oakland. Oakland is falling off. Oakland has lost 3 in a row, and now they have 3 teams ahead of them. Because Oakland, about 3 weeks ago, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, the A's were above that line. They were one of the wild cards. Matter of fact, before the Yankees' winning streak, I think it was Boston and Oakland, I believe, were the wild cards. The Yankees were behind the playoff line. Now, how things have changed. But yeah, Oakland has 3 teams ahead of them. The team behind them is Cleveland. Cleveland's screwed. But yeah, Oakland is just falling off. In the National League, the wild card teams are the Dodgers and the Padres, and yeah, 13 games separate these 2 teams, and it really looks like it's really a different foregone closure. Whoever loses the NL West will end up hosting the wild card game. Because San Diego isn't catching either one of these 2. They fell off at the wrong time. Now they need to win to stay above the playoff line. At the moment, they are above it. They moved right past it just now. But it's still a tight race. You still got San Diego. San Diego's above the line. The Reds are a half game out. The Phillies are 2.5 games out. The Cardinals are 3 games out. The Mets are 4 games out. It is a crowded group. We could see. I'm going to predict we see Game 163 in the NL West. We might see it again for the second wild card. It might come to that because it's a pretty close race. We'll see what the Padres and Reds and the Phillies and Cardinals and Mets do in the rest of the month. So that's a look at the standings. That's a look at the pennant races. We're down to the final 4 weeks of the regular season, and I'll be back next Sunday night to recap everything from the past week. Get a look at what the updated races look like, and also a couple days after that, I will recap the first week of the 2021 NFL season. That's gonna be amazing. So with that, I say happy Labor Day weekend, and stay tuned. Oh, before I forget, I gotta come up with one more thing. My piece on Vocal about the pennant races, that will be featured in a link in the description below. So check it out when you can. And again, stay tuned.